So my Etherworks hobby and gaming products has arrived, and this is the unboxing. So there's something inside of this. We're going to have a look and see. Okay.
I was thinking of using Benny Hill music here, but possibly it might be copyrighted on YouTube. So here I'm opening up the box. Slightly arduous process. The foam inserts are not biodegradable nor edible, which is actually I thought was pretty standard these days, so I was a bit surprised. And the rest of the box is empty. So I was like, what? Oh, okay. Put that to one side and go through the boxes themselves. So here's the two different boxes, TerraTiles Original, Misty Moorlands, and Coasts and Rivers. So I decided I'm going to open them both up, but of course vacuum sealed, which is good, it protects the product. It just made it a little harder to open up the box. Tear through the plastic, try to get these out. I thought it was quite nice actually, the half pieces are on top, made it a little bit easy to get out of the box. Until I figured out, of course, that you can just take out one of these side inserts and use that instead. So go a bit, there we go, I'm out. So here's all the pieces, putting them together. Now one of my concerns originally was these half pieces might not be interchangeable when your pieces on your miniature are moving to the edge of the board and your characters want to move off that side. If they're going to step in that direction, of course I need a piece that's going to be quickly swappable for another piece, and so it's like, wait a second, does this match? No, where's a piece that's going to match? So I've gone through them and we do have some, so there we go, there's an interchangeable piece swapping there, so that's good. So let's put these back and we'll get to number 2 in the TerraTiles, the Coasts and Rivers. There we go, once again vacuum sealed packet, so we're having difficulty opening it up. Voila! Starts off with some trees. These are cool little things. Turns out it's a lot easier to put them together. They just pop out pretty easy and fit together pretty easy. Had a little bit more trouble with the walls, but once together they were fine. And it's good for line of sight. You're getting down to that point where you're forgetting there's a tree in the way. You're going to forget line of sight for archers and ranged combat. So having a physical blockage is a good idea. So let's pull out the pieces. Looking at second set. As you can see, I haven't learnt from the first time. Oh, there we go. Pulled it out. Got the second set out, ready to look at. So here's all the pieces. I'm flipping through them. Hey, look at that. Now we can have some river battles and some sea battles and other such things. Where's my special token? Where's my awesome looking Kickstarter special token? So that's what I'm glancing through. Eventually I'll spot it and I'll show it to you. And the cool part I found with this was all of the coastal tiles have some sort of a coastal edge to them, so you know that they're coastal and you won't get them mixed up between your Misty Moorlands and your coastal tiles.
We're almost set up, but there's another part I have yet to open up, the elevation terrain. So the idea here is that here's our little area. You can see some orcs are coming up against some heroes. Our archer would probably be likely to, I'm not sure if you can see that, but this is a section of rocks and where water is coming down. It looks like a waterfall here, so that suggests this area should be raised up. So they've got these things called the elevation risers, and so here's the box here, and I saw them online and they look really cool, so I thought I have to get them too. Oh, okay, that's unexpected. They're white. They were green in the Kickstarter campaign, so that's a bit disappointed. But okay, so in essence, the idea here is that you put the risers underneath the tiles so that you get some elevation. So, for example, the river here should probably be slightly elevated as it is coming out of those rocks there. And okay, the elevators are slightly smaller than the cardboard, suggesting that they could have faces glued onto them accordingly. I guess that would be somewhat appropriate. So let's put some elevation in behind here. As you can see, I'm probably going to have to paint the sides to get that edge looking nice. But our characters have just come from a nearby dungeon. Make more sense to do a bit more hill here. And there's something going on. Okay. A path. Got some rocky paths and we've got some dirt paths. I haven't been able to find any transitions between the rocky paths and the dirt paths, so that's a bit. And I have some issues, and I'll go through them in a second. There you go. There's a nice little terrain setup to show off what's going on here in this encounter. So, here's our heroes. I put a wizard out here fighting somebody. Little halfling farmer. So the issues. One of the issues I have is that when I first put this terrain out, I noticed that the rocky edge, we have a rocky edge here going into a sandy bank, and the sandy bank has a misalignment. It's not lined up here, and also again the sandy bank rocky alignment. So I get the impression that they've tried to maybe force you to say, okay, well this is your sandy bank and you're not allowed to put it next to your rocky alignment, so we've made a gap in the image, so you have to use the appropriate tiles. But then you get the ones that don't, oops, wait, that doesn't line up either. No, that's me, I'm a perfectionist, I want them to line up perfectly, so when they don't. And so the rocky tiles to river out, this is another issue I had. I went through all of the tiles looking for appropriate corners. I don't see two sets of things. This is supposed to be our coasts and rivers, but the rivers arrive at the coast in only a couple of forms. You've got the one I've got here, which is a rocky overflow, suggesting of course that this terrain should be raised at this point and lower on the other half. So that's fine. But then you've got this this one here, and so we've got our beach, but that's a flat, and then we've got another, I'm placing them just randomly at the moment, but we've got our two corner piece here. We've got a two corner piece here, and we've got a half corner piece here, and we've got our two corner on the other side. So we've got a predominant 2/3 grassland river entrance and a 2/3 water river entrance. But these are both beaches here, and this one's rocky. So where's my halfway rocky entrance and 1/3 rocky entrance, and where's my 2/3 beach entrance? So that seems to be missing. I'll go through them again, but I don't see it in here. So that was a bit of a disappointment. I can't find the full connection. I made a lot of maps in Civilization, and one of the biggest problems was making sure you had one of every coast tile of each of the terrain types connecting to each of the coast tiles. So that was always an issue as a graphic artist that I had to put up with, and so it's a bit disappointing to see that they haven't fully done that here. I'd like to see the sandy transition, rather than having this, this only works with this to this, I'm only going to have a beach to beach tile here. I would have liked to see sticking to, okay, this is all beach and this is our transition, so that always, all these rocks could always sit next to a beach, because there would always be a transition state between the two. So yes, okay, it would be ever so slightly annoying if you wanted to have a pure beach, but then you'd have a beach with a little tiny thing and another beach with a tiny thing, and it could be seaweed or it could be some grassy something, or some sort of indication. And then I don't know, maybe some other people have got a different opinion on that. So that was my slight issue there. Yeah, having some sort of a waterfall cascade tile. I'm probably the kind of person I would prefer to have a piece of this similar card that would fit there, or maybe a sloped angular piece that would be something that would, some sort of a transition piece to add to that. But all in all, yeah, it's pretty good. So this will definitely be an addition to the table whenever we're presenting miniatures to represent things which are going on. For me, that's more of a boss battle situation. When it's okay, your heroes have arrived and here's some creatures you need to fight, do we really need to set up such a situation? No. But when you have a boss battle, you really want to set the scene, you want players to know exactly where they are, and you want everything to be nice and smooth so that there's no confusion in a boss battle. So, well done, TerraTiles, for doing them, and yeah, looking pretty good. But yeah, please, can you give me those spare tiles in the next set? Alright, thanks very much for watching.